Hello friends, I'm Audhendra Yadav, and last 2 days I'm discussing the topic of China's intention in the Indo-Pacific region, and I have gone into great detail about the China's action and India's counter reaction and India's strategic way forward to deal with China. I have previously discussed in great detail. Now I'm going to discuss with you that uh, the alliance and cooperation that India is developing with the countries. G7 countries is actually very much, I would say that they are worried about the China's growing influence and particularly his belligerent action in the Indian Ocean region. And if you see the past 1.5 years, the African continent is going to be the next playground of the major powers, and India is also leading uh, with the same, as India is want to become a global South leader. Global South leader, I mean, there is polar, northern, and southern, because of based on the economic competence. The global South countries, which is majorly poorly economically arranged, and low and middle income countries are developing countries like Africa, and we are also lower middle income country. So this is global South, and India is want to lead it, and China is also have uh, his checkbook ready, and he's offering loans for their developmental needs, and the Western countries is also playing the same game in the particular area, and Russia is also focusing on African continent and cooperating with India. So the geopolitical situation actually changed when the Russia invaded in Ukraine, and the fighting is still going on since 9 months. So they Western countries, G7 countries, actually separated uh, Russia, or they tried to separate Russia from their economical, or the word economical equation. So the Russia has the Asia and Africa, and the South American countries is actually also cooperating, like Brazil, with BRICS nations, and they all are coordinating their effort. But individually, they are exercising their effort in the ground of Africa. The new playground is going to be Africa in past scene. The growing influence, the connection of Africa through the Indian Ocean, and to secure the investment, China is actually eyeing and installing its navy, PLA navy, installing there in great presence, and doing all the surveillances in the maritime domain. So it is annoying India and Western countries as well. So the cooperation, I have already gone in my previous video in detail, but today, the date of 29th November, the Hindu newspaper have published the report that the Canadian Justin Trudeau, I have already discussed the talk that APEC happened with Justin Trudeau and Mr. Xi Jinping there, and Mr. Xi Jinping has responded aggressively. So Justin Trudeau is making his policy to, and he has said in his own remarks, he said that India is a crucial partner, and he terms that China is increasingly disruptive power. Is this a statement? These two terms, crucial power, crucial partner, India, and increasingly disturbing, destructive power, China. Destructive power, China. He said that clearly. He also official document released the Indo-Pacific strategy. They call them Indo-Pacific strategy. Indo-Pacific region, their officials actually recognized that the Indo-Pacific region will play a significant and profound role in its future, and Canada makes their policy Indo-Pacific strategy, which terms China is an increasingly disturbing global power, calling India a crucial power, crucially important for Canada and this region as well. The strategy said Canada will seek new opportunity to partner and engage in dialogue with India in areas of common interest and values. They are pointing out the values, I mean the democratic values, rule of law, etc., including security and the promotion of democracy, pluralism, and human rights. On the discussion with Mr. Xi Jinping, he raised the Xinjiang province Uyghur Muslims issue and said that Mr. Jinping, you have to respect the human values, but he aggressively responded. And he's very disturbing. Based on 5 interconnected strategic objectives they have made, and they pledged that I will invest $2.3 billion in last 5 years. In next 5 years, they will invest $2.3 billion in various 5 strategic objectives they want to achieve in next 5 years. Their policy is actually saying in the policy document, China is looking to shape the international order into a more permissive environment for interests and values that increasingly depart from ours. The strategy say, in areas of profound disagreement, we will challenge China, including when it engaged in coercive behavior, ignores human rights obligations, or undermines our national security interests and those are partners in the region. Those are partners in the region. He is saying that Indian Ocean and Indo-Pacific region countries, that means Asian countries, and of course India is already have well placed, and it is also cooperating with the various countries. India has a gravity in this region. They know that. As China becomes more assertive, they are saying that assertive and grows in influence. Canada is stepping up as a reliable partner in the region to promote security and stability across the region and at home. At home means the Canada. The strategy said Canada will increase our military engagement and intelligence capacity in a meaningful in a means of mitigating coercive behavior and threats to regional security. Canada is ready to engage with military engagement. Military engagement, there is military power, which is actually have the gravity is India and Indonesia is a key power, and there is Philippines and Cambodia is also there, but they are not militarily that much. He's actually said that the India is a crucial power. In India's growing strategic, economic, and demographic importance in the Indo-Pacific makes it a critical partner in Canada's pursuit of its objective. He's pointed out in his strategy that growing strategic importance of India and India's economic improvement and economic strength. India is going to be 3 and 4th, I think 3rd and 4th, 2030 in the ranking, global ranking, and the demography of India is a very great, very rich nation. 65% of its population is in the very much working age below 30 and 35. So they are demographically stronger, and they have military presence. Military means army, their navy and etc. Very have the gravity, strategic gravity India has. So they want to make with partnering with India to achieve their objective, while also noting that there are shared values and pluralism among others. India's plurality means the multicultural, multi-language, multi-religious, and it's respecting to human values, etc. India has a good record on these components, but the Western reports is actually not portraying India well. But they are also considering the Indian democracy, how this democracy is actually surviving. India, 70-80% of their population is really big. It is not just official document, and 30% to 25-22% is poor, but really if the Indian government giving assistance, food assistance to NPS system to the masses, then how can you say that India is major population can survive in a difficult time? But it's okay. But democracy is running. Democracy means there is fundamental rights protection. In these fundamental rights, everything, the values that democracy must be to uphold the rule of law, etc., and the freedom of speech, expression, everything have been incorporated into India's constitution as well. We are respecting as these all components. So this is a great thing, and they value. Western countries actually values the democratic fabric, and they appreciate India's success in the democratic arena and pluralistic society. In line with this, the strategy said it will grow economic ties, including through deeper trade and investment, as well as cooperate on building resilient supply chain. A resilient supply chain, we are living in a globalized world, so there must be a divergent supply chain and must be a operational supply chain resilient seeking to expand market access by concluding as Progress Trade Agreement (EPTA), Early Progress Trade Agreement, as a step forward, a comprehensive economic partnership agreement with India and Canada. On people to people ties, people to people connect, the strategy said it would invest in and connect people, including by bolstering Canada visa processing capacity to New Delhi and Chandigarh, as also support academic, educational, cultural, youth and research exchanges. To advance Canada regional peace and security interests, it plans to invest over $720 million, which includes $492.9 million to reinforce Canada's Indo-Pacific naval presence and increase its military presence, participation in the regional military exercises, as well as $47.3 million to launch a new multi-department initiative to help develop cybersecurity capacity in select regional partners like India, Indonesia. Canada also committed $913.3 million for a clean future, of which $750 million to be supported sustainable infrastructure and $84.3 million to reinforce a healthy marine environment in the Indo-Pacific region, including enhancing measures against illegal, unreported and unregulated IUU fishing under the strategy. Canada also committed $143.3 million to strengthen its presence, visibility and influence in the region. So the Hindu actually put out this report in great detail, and further about the topic I will discuss with you. And as we are talking about Indo-Pacific, and on the same day the Hindus also expressed that the UK to strengthen ties with Europe, Indo-Pacific. Mr. Prime Minister of UK, Rishi Sunak, said that they are willing to cooperate with the countries and particularly targeting India's strategic cooperation. So all the effort every country putting in this free and open Indo-Pacific and respect to the international laws that must be upheld in all its means, in all its pure form in this region. And if you like my initiative, please subscribe my channel and share it. I am willing to cooperate with my viewers, and their positive suggestions, affirmative suggestions is respected. And with due care, I will maneuver my activities accordingly. Thank you, all of you.